Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. Hey, before I even say anything else, I didn't even run my normal intro. I've got technical problems. I have no internet. So I am running on cellular data from my phone, and my phone only has about half the bars. So I'm not sure how well this is going to work. I have a feeling that we're going to probably end up failing here. And that's very disappointing because I've been with the cable company ever since yesterday trying to get things resolved. Uh, so please let me know how it's coming through on your end with comments. Dennis, thank you. Sounds like I'm coming through. Okay, because I was testing with my guest, Bryce, and he kept freezing up on me and said I was freezing up on him. So I know that there's going to be issues. So I'm cutting it short. But I'll tell you what, it's sort of like Scotty would say on Star Trek, I've got this wired like a Christmas tree, Captain. Don't throw too many bumps at me. So I'm trying to shave down the internet usage and some of the thrills that I would normally be doing. So anyways, so far people say it's loud and clear. So I'm going to continue the show until it just can't happen. So, and hopefully we do get through it. So I know that I may have a few guests on tonight that are first time viewers, and you might be friends of Bryce or whatnot and came, on his invitation. And if so, welcome to the show. My name is Ken with Model Building and Retirement Channel. And not only do I do this live stream every Friday night at 7 p.m., but I also have my normal channel where I do builds and reviews and tutorials and you name it. Just fun stuff all about model building. So I'm really having a good time with it. I'm recently retired. That's why the show is Model Building and Retirement. So, okay. Bill, welcome. Kevin, welcome. Jim, welcome. Stephen, welcome. David, welcome. John, welcome. But I don't want to say too much about that. I'm trying to keep the show going. Hi, Jim. Okay, so yeah, hit the like. Jim's saying hit the like. Yeah, hit like and subscribe before I fade out on you here. So anyways, had a good show last week with Papa from Papa's Model Workshop. Jim's a really laid back, nice guy. So I really had a lot of fun. I think we have a good chemistry together, and I hope to have him back again. But so far, I haven't had a bad guest yet. I mean, Kevin was a lot of fun, and Craig was, and Jim from Papa's was. And tonight's guest is going to be Bryce Tempeny from Model Makers Workshop, who is one of my sponsors. He makes 3D products, and that is going to be the topic. And let's see if I can sneak in a little bit of tech here. So tonight's topic will be 3D printed parts and accessories and kits, and how it's influenced the model building hobby, and where's it heading. And Bryce has got a store where he's adding product every day, so he's probably got a pretty good foothold on where that's all going. So I think he's going to be an interesting guest. And he's also a builder himself. And if you follow my channel, I'm somewhat new to the 3D resin stuff. I got a couple pictures I can show you here. Some of the stuff I've gotten into is I got these engines here. So on the left is a small block Ford, and on the right, a nice big 572 Chevy. So these are two engines that are getting ready to go into some builds here. This was a 56 Chevy I did. It's got the nice big 572 big block in there, and I'm really learning my way around. Trying to fit that stuff in there. It's a new challenge for me. Here's a 44 that I did with a really cool small block turbocharger. So a lot of fun. So I think he's going to be a great guest. He's backstage. We'll bring him on here very shortly. Upcoming videos, the 1960 Ford Starliner. I've got 2 of the series already out there, and I'm working on that. So part 3 will be coming out just in another couple days. And I think it'll wrap up probably with a part 4. We'll see, because it's a pretty extensive build, and I'm kind of getting deep into it for the newbies that like myself that are joining the hobby. I'm trying to explain things in great detail, and it would have been a 4-hour build video. So that's why it's going to be in 4 parts. So that's coming up. And then I haven't decided on my next build yet, but Currently, I am thinking that it's probably going to be the Revell 1971 Olds 442. I got so many kits in the collection there. Not as many as some of you guys. Some of you guys have hundreds, but I got some cool builds going. Real quick bench update. Now, I'm not going to bump the risk of turning on my other camera because that is my cell phone, and I think we're already pushing the limits of what I'm able to do with that. I can't believe with modern technology that I'm even able to broadcast on this little bit of low signal from my phone. So looks like it's still working. So anyways, instead of going to the other camera, I am still working on this. Whoops. Technical difficulty. Lost the hood somewhere down there. Here it is. Don't worry, folks. We're a professional show. No retakes here. Anyways, okay, so got the paint done. It's a 3-stage tritone. Looks a little blurry. I'm not able to focus that really good, but it's coming along really nice. It's green with a darker green trim between the two colors and the black. All sanded, buffed, and polished out. That's water-based acrylics, folks. So those diehards that say that you can't get a nice finish with water-based, just take a good look at that. So I'm having a lot of fun with that build. It's coming along really nice. And I won't go too long on this, but I went to a swap meet last week, and I picked up my first Tamiya kit. So this is going to be a Mustang GT4 build that I'm going to do. And just talking to Bryce right before we came online here, he told me that they're going to be printing out accessories for this kit because this is a curbside. So he's going to have an engine and everything coming out soon. So pretty cool, pretty cool. So enough of the bench update. I'm trying to keep it moving along so that we're with the pertinent stuff here. Wanted to do a couple shout outs. I do have some guests here. Still coming through good, everybody? Yeah, it looks like we are good. Good news. Okay, so a couple shout outs. Kevin Travis of Mid-Ohio Valley Scale Modelers Facebook group. He reached out to me the other day and asked if I could do a little shout out. They opened a Facebook group page. I think they have like 26 members and growing, and it's about model building. But in addition to their Facebook group page, they now have, and let me get there. They have a banner. Let me put a banner up here. There we go. But they just started a club, and they're struggling to get members. So they are located in Parkersburg, West Virginia. So that's right along the Ohio border. So that's why their name is Mid-Ohio, but yet they're out of West Virginia. But they're struggling to find people to join the club. So if you're in that area, I do have links in the description of this video for their Facebook group page. And let's see, I think I had a couple slides. Let me see if I can bring them up real quick. Let me try to go full screen with it. Okay, so this is their Facebook group page, homepage here. So, yeah, they're right along the river there. And then this is their little club. So it looks like they have a monthly meeting at 1 p.m. on the second Saturday of every month. And there's the address in Parkersburg. Again, links will be in the description there. But, give them a help out there. They're saying they're struggling. It's a small town like Ohio, so they're just having trouble attracting builders. And so, if you're in that area, check them out. And, of course, Facebook, anybody can join that because you don't have to be near Parkersburg. So just a little shout out to my friends over there and welcome. I appreciate you guys reaching out to me. Another guy reached out to me this week, and this is really cool too. Let me get a link out here for him. So Bob Skinner just started a YouTube channel. He's only got one video up now, and it is this huge, massive model car display. It's like a wall unit that he built, and it's really cool. And I have a link in the description to his YouTube channel where he shows this cabinet in greater depth. But I got a couple slides here. So he's got scenes on every shelf. Look at this. You got a racetrack in the background. You got some mud stuff going on here, monster trucks. Look at that NASCAR race going on. Just what a cool way to do, I thought I was cool to have a little garage diorama where I can fit 3 or 4 cars in, but isn't that awesome? He's got all kinds of little scenes going on there. Even this one here, this is sort of like a car show in the park, basically. So I think that's really, really cool. So check him out there. Yeah, there's a little video where they're just they're not showing how they build it or anything, but they're showing, in better detail than just my couple pictures. In fact, these are just screenshots, but really cool stuff. That's one of the fun things about having a channel and a live thing is I'm learning new stuff. People reach out to me and so just like you guys, I I get new leads on stuff. So really, really cool. All right. So where are we now? I think it's time to bring on our guest. Now, first, before I do that, let me just talk about my upcoming guests here too. Of course, if this show goes off the air and we fail, I'll have to bring Bryce back and he'll be an upcoming guest and we'll reschedule. But tentatively, if all goes well tonight, Joe from Joe's New Rush Shop will be my guest next Friday night on January 30th. And Joe he's an excellent builder, and his name of his channel is The Rush Shop because he builds a lot of patina stuff, and he's right here in Youngstown. So it's going to be interesting because I don't have to bring him in satellite. He'll be right here in studio with me because we're locals together. So that's pretty cool. And then the week after is going to be Mikey from Chester's Models, and his pops is Mike. And it's a father-son build team. As the son, Mikey, has his own channel called Chester's Models, and I'm sure he's in here on the comments probably. But he's a young man. He's probably in his 20s, and he does some pretty nice builds. And his dad builds too. So we're gonna have a father and son guest, and let them talk about their hobby and their how would you call it, relationship together. Because what a fun thing. I wish I could have done something like that with my dad. I think if he was alive today, that would probably be doing this together. But, when he was in his older age, I lived on the other side of the country. I only moved back here after he passed away. It's a shame sometimes how things go. That's the ugly thing about life. But anyways, I am going to risk playing a little intro for Bryce, and then we'll bring him on stage. So this is just a little intro about his store and whatnot, and we'll be right back with Bryce. Let's welcome Bryce Tempeny of Model Makers Workshop.
Hey guys.
Hello, Bryce. How you doing, buddy?
Good. It was a busy day, long day so far, but all is good.
Good. Well, welcome to the show. I really appreciate you coming on for us tonight.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
And hopefully we pull it off. It looks like the broadcast has been coming through pretty good, so it looks like it's just you and I that are pixelating. So
yeah,
so let's just carry it on. Yeah, or it's your fault. So, anyways, so you're a model builder.
Yeah, we got lots of guys in the house too. I see, eh?
Yeah, what is the number? I can't monitor because I don't want to use any more data up.
I can't see the
number.
How
many people you show?
I see like John and Kevin Smith. I saw Chris.
Oh yeah.
Scale Speed Garage.
Anybody in the comment? Can you see on the channel? Usually on YouTube, you look in the upper corner or somewhere on there, 48. And you'll see how many people. 48. It looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause I
Okay.
can
We're
only
down a
see
little
very
bit. We've had
small.
80 last week,
Yeah, for sure.
but we're just getting out of the way. So, anyways, so Bryce is my sponsor, and actually, too, let me put this up on stage real quick. Any product that you buy from the link in my description takes you to his store, and you get a 10% discount by using the code MBIR10, and you'll save 10% on that. I just want to do a little plug. You got to do that for my sponsors there, right, sir?
Yeah. It's crazy to see how much you've grown though since we got started a few months back. You've grown pretty quick. So it's good to see, right? We're glad that we could help.
Yeah, I think you and I both have grown leaps and bounds. I mean, you had a very limited supply. And man, I mean, now you're getting quite competitive, and every day you're bringing more on.
Yeah, it was supposed to be just like I started doing some printing for my local IPMS group, right? And then it got more and more and more, and then I realized, with the tariffs and stuff, it was more of a push for just the Canadian guys. And then I realized, well, because of the change between the Canadian dollar and the American dollar, because I'm up on Vancouver Island. For those that don't know, I know there's quite a few people in the list that I have talked to, but I'm out on Vancouver Island up in Canada, and it's trying to get stuff across the border. I've used great companies like Iceman and Texas 3D Customs. I've purchased from them before I was here, and it just started to get expensive. And I know that was one of the things that a lot of the Canadian builders that were trying to find somebody that could get this stuff without having to pay the atrocious tariffs, right?
Right.
But yeah, it's so what started as just a kind of like a little side hustles turned into, we did pretty good for it. We opened in July and we finished 5 figures after paying everything out and profits. And we're not looking to get rich with it either. And it was more just, like I said, bringing a new market to Canada without having to go across the border, right? And it was never anything personal against any of the other 3D printers or any of those companies. It was just, it gave us Canadian builders, an opportunity to work with artists like MCS Design and Black Box and P24 Hobby. These guys are monsters in the 3D side of things, and they produce amazing product, amazing designs, right? And it just gave me the ability to send it out to a lot of the Canadian builders. Like I said, we're sponsoring our first big show, so we're doing the IPMS show here in Victoria. It's grown quite a bit, and I'm probably going to do the Vancouver show too. And then, like I had said to you, we're looking at I'll probably come down to NLL. I think is probably one of the big ones, and maybe pick a couple of other bigger shows, and we'll come down just to kind of hang out and see what everybody else is doing down there, right?
Which NNL you're thinking about going to?
I don't know. It'll definitely be one of the bigger ones, probably closer out towards where you are. I know Matt Hickey from Matt's Models and More. The show that he showcased looked like it was pretty busy, so it'll definitely be one of the bigger shows. It'll be just a lot more worth it for us to go for that, right? Pack up the wife and head down.
Sure.
And it's a lot of work, believe it or not. Getting some of this product out to the shows, it's it's hauling it all there, getting it set up, doing tables. It's a lot of work. So, we definitely want to go to some places where we're going to meet a lot of people that are out there. I've met a ton of guys already, just with chatting and in some of the groups. I have a Facebook group with a few of the other guys, Corey Lesher and Steve Luttrell and Charlie Haig and Josh. And it's I think we're at 25,000 members now for the beginner scale modeling group on Facebook. So it's
not bad. Yeah.
They've had it a couple of years, and when Corey and Steve started it, like it was a few hundred people, and over the last few years it's exploded into this huge group. So our focus was really to try to, this year anyways, is we're going to try to bring that younger crowd back to the hobby, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like with JDM and some of this other stuff, there's a lot of young builders that are starting to slowly come in. Guys like Hack Job Hobbies, like the guy just builds insane product. It's to watch this kid build. He just throws up some amazing builds, right? So giving an opportunity to bring some of these younger builders in, I think is it's just something we want to focus on. So that's why I said we're, trying not, we're not so much pushing away from the muscle car stuff and the old muscle, but we're going to focus a lot on the JDM market because there's a huge following for it, right?
That's a polite way of saying, hey, you old farts are dying off, so I'm trying to attract the new people, but I get it.
Yeah, and like our new kit, we just dropped the Overland kit for the 92 Toyota, which is this kit here. And it's, I guess my camera's over on that side, yeah. It's been a popular kit, and I mean, it completely changed. I think you might have a picture of it, but it changed kind of this kit in general. I struggle with AMT kits. They're kind of like my kryptonite. I find their suspension is not the greatest. It's not designed the greatest, especially on some of the older kits. So we wanted something that was, kind of cool, that kind of related back to when I saw those trucks back in, the 90s. They had the big meaty tires. They had, the long lifts. A lot of guys did them with the 4Runner hood scoop. So we added that to it. We did the roll bar with the spare tire handle or holder on it. We changed quite a bit on this truck, and it's been super popular, been flying off the shelves. But we found out, I'm seeing a lot of the guys that are buying that kit are actually younger. We're seeing that those guys that we advertise them in some of the other groups, more in the 4-wheel drive model kits and some of the Japanese. It is a Japanese vehicle, but we did see quite a bit of a younger crowd starting to purchase these kind of things, right? And it's the same as the kit we offered a kit for the Stranger Things Blazer, which was like a bagged lowered kit. We did a basic lift, and then we did a long arm lift on that kit, and it was with a hood and a bunch of other stuff, and that kit was super popular as well. So that's kind of just where our focus was. And my in-house designer Joe Castro, like, he's got a gift when it comes to this stuff. It's he's just done really well. We've got quite a few stuff, which as we get later into the thing, I'll go over some of the stuff we're working on, some of the kits that we're working on, but lots of stuff coming this year. It should be a big year. I think the hobby itself is going to have a big year. There's just so much going on, right? I'm noticing the shows are getting bigger and better. The product 3D printing is just allowed for a whole new level of detail, right? So the guys that were already creating amazing product are, just taking it even one step further, right? There's just so many different wheels and tire combinations now, tons of different engine, different load. Like we have a 1/6 scale stuff. It'll print just as well in 124 or 125 scale. And like one of our Honda engines, the B18, you can print it 4 different ways. So we'll send you one kit, but you can build it 4 different ways. You can build a bone stock, or like a Nugan full twin turbo setup with stacks and everything, right? So there's just so much going on. And it's just as fast as Joe can pump it out, right? He's only one guy. And then with our partnerships and our licensing with guys like MCS, Black Box, P24 Hobbies, I know, like, there's tons. You go on our website, you'll see a list. And that's one thing I really want to push with everybody, especially viewers here, is that if there's a product that our licensees carry that's not on the catalog, use the form on the website, send it out, and I'll get it up right away. We'll print it, test it, make sure it works, and it'll be on the catalog within that, a few days of you when you request it.
Great.
Because we have access to hundreds of thousands of files. And I can only put up so much per day. So, and I work full time.
Yeah, you're a busy man. And you hit on a couple things there too, Bryce. Because I think a lot of us builders, we build on the models that formed our lives. Usually when you're a teenager, that's where things really happen. So for me, I was a teenager in the early 70s, and so I love that old school muscle, but I'm not afraid to jump out of the my comfort zone. And like, I'm going to have Mikey on here in a couple of weeks. He's a younger man who has, but he builds some old school stuff too. And then Kevin from Craig's Corner was just on 2 weeks ago, and he's into the 80s stuff because that was his formative years. So, but your stuff has inspired me because I wasn't even thinking going to 3D period until I met you, and so you got me out of my box. And then when I see your kits, it's like I've got to try that. So I really do want to build some stuff that I would have never dreamed of building. But you've got the product out there, and I'm anxious to try some of this. And you're telling me today that you might be sending me some of those kits. So
yeah, we're gonna make sure you get a.
You are pixelating a little bit, by the way.
Yeah,
you're pixelating a little bit, but pretty much I think we're getting what you're saying, folks. Does it look good to you? Okay. Anyways, yeah, continue on.
Yeah,
you've been better than our test run earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's when I originally reached out to you, I reached out to a few people to kind of get started because the quickest way for us to get out there was to really get our name in front of some guys that could really. We wanted guys that were honest, that could test the product and give us an honest review of what we needed changed. And I make it a personal thing to every review that comes back in on every product. I answer personally just to see what's going on. We've had a couple of hiccups, little things here and there. Surprisingly enough, we've only had 2 U.S. Postal Service incidents, which orders were completely destroyed, which was what I thought was going to be the majority of the problem because I've heard USPS is pretty nasty. But we've actually had more problems with Canada Post than we have with the U.S. Postal Service. So those were I kind of expected those things. And we had a few things that, some parts were misshapen and a few things like that. But, it's been a learning as I go. And you got to think I'm competing with, 2 big monsters in this industry, Iceman Collections and Texas 3D Customs. They're monsters. They make amazing product, right? So some people thought I was nuts getting into it, but it wasn't about competing with them. It was just we wanted to bring some product to Canada, right? The ability to get some of the licensed artists use that, but also allow us to create some of our own stuff that we were seeing, right? And
right.
I've got to meet some really good guys, like people like you yourself, and tons of guys in our group, part of Luca C's group, and it gets a little crazy in that group sometimes. I'm 50 years old, but I'm still quite young to this hobby compared to some of the guys I talk to, right? So, but it's cool to see. The IPMS group here and spam group here in Victoria is awesome. We've got some product now in a couple of the hobby shops. So I doing regular stuff with BC Hobbies and NRC in Nanaimo, which is still on the island. But we've had other hobby shops up here in Canada, in Alberta and in Ontario reach out. So it could be something going future, but we didn't want to flood this stuff all over. We kind of like having the personal touch to it. Right. So, there's lots of big stuff coming this year. I think, even the big kit manufacturers, there's lots of cool stuff coming out. It's, there's lots to see. Mobius is relatively a new player in the game. They weren't around when I was modeling. I've only gotten back into this recently. Obviously, I built lots when I was, younger and a teenager, younger adult. And then life happens, right? You get married and kids and work and careers and all that stuff. But, there's just, it's come a long way. Right. Yeah. And I'm still young in the hobby at 50. I go to the show here and I see some of these guys that are like late 80s and early 90s that are still building, that shake like crazy, but I don't know how they get these things looking as nice as they do. It's crazy.
Well, you're just a kid, really. But
yeah.
Right? My friend Kevin Smith just alerted me to a guy the other day. Channel's called what is it, Kevin? The Blind Model Builder. And this guy is legally blind. He has one prosthetic eye and the other one looks like he has some vision problems. And I struggle to see what I'm doing. But this guy is really challenged, but yet he is building some incredible stuff. So he's I'm going to get him on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyways, let me ask you something here. Because I understand why you started your store, because you needed to service Canada and it was hard to get product from here to there, especially with the tariffs and whatnot. But help my viewers and the people in the States here understand what it takes to order from Canada here, and what makes you competitive to shipping here, and what they can expect in that process. Because I know myself, sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to order from Canada. I want to order from the US. It'd be no problem. So
Yeah.
ease our minds a little bit about how that goes.
So I did, I mean, so I've got a background in marketing and web design. And now when I say marketing and web design, that marketing and web design background is in the automotive industry. So I work for large brands like Chrysler, TD Auto Finance. There's, I've had over the past like 30 years since I was young, it's been mostly in the automotive field. I did join the military out of high school and did my thing with that, but the majority of what I've done is somehow or another in the automotive field. So I've been around this stuff. Now, doing my research, I wanted to use a platform that I knew I could stay competitive, that, offered savings and things like that on postal services. Also worked with major postal services. So I chose Shopify, which I think most of the guys that are doing this are on. And, with the exception of the Canadian dollar and the US dollar, I think we actually come in a little cheaper than most of the American printers. But I mean, it's with US Postal Service, I think it's like $9.50 US, and I can ship it pretty much US wide. And in reality, it's maybe 5 or 6 days tops. And what does that person say? Bryce, are you working on making 3D resin not so fragile? Now, yeah, we'll get to that one too. That's a good question. But yeah, so it's Shopify has been awesome. I found they didn't discriminate when it came to somebody who's new and somebody who's already there. They've been able to give us some huge discounts on shipping. So we work with the majors like FedEx, US Postal Service, Canada Post, DHL. Well, DHL does all our shipping to Australia and New Zealand. So those that don't know, we are shipping to Australia and New Zealand, and it's really no different pricing than it is to ship to the US, right? But when it came down to it, it was daunting at first, but I think with my marketing and my web design background, I was able to save a pile of money, and we were able to just kind of jump in. But it's with the exception of Trump and his tariffs by getting rid of the NAFTA agreement, it was a little wonky. We'd finally gotten kind of a good flow. We were, averaging 6 or 8 orders, maybe a day or every other day. And the flow was going, we were going. And then the Trump thing just kind of put a wrench in it, and everything screeched to a halt right away. But, I have to, Canada Post pulled it off. They pulled it together really quick. They were able to, work with Shopify, and it didn't really change much for us. They were able to take duty right at the point, like, when you purchase something, Shopify was able to pull the duties right away. So we didn't have to do anything on our end. We were just Canada Post, US Postal Service, and DHL. They just did what they were supposed to do. We didn't have to scramble. So it worked out. So all in all, I think buying from us up here, because of the Canadian dollar exchange, it actually I'm finding it's probably about 15%, maybe even more cheaper, with an extra day's wait. Maybe customs is pretty quick getting stuff through. I haven't had anything held at customs yet, and like I said, we've been going hard for 6 months, and I've only had a couple of incidences with US Postal Service and about 6 or 8 with Canada Post. But other than that, we're seeing people buy from everywhere, from Florida to New York to California. And then I think it's actually costs more for me to ship to Quebec and Ontario in Canada than it does to you guys down there, right? So right. Duties, depending on what it is, can be, it can get up there. I've had a couple customers that are, put $150 order in and $80 duty, but I have to tell them, you're looking at the wrong shipping company. Like, look at US Postal Service. You look at something else, because it, depending who you're shipping with, changes things too, right? So, if you can use US Postal Service, use it. They're cheaper all the way around.
Okay, so if you're ordering from your website, you get to pick the shipping, and do you see the full calculated price, including duties, or?
Yeah, it should. It'll give an estimated duties, and then when I on my end, on the back end, when I go in to purchase the bill of lading or the weigh bill, it'll adjust it accordingly, and it's normally a few pennies from whatever the customer was billed. But like a general packet air is about $9.50, and I'd say on a $50 order, maybe $12 duty.
Okay.
So
and that's estimated right with the shipping. Okay. Well, folks, you know, he's going to navigate through the website a little bit too here coming up to show you, but you know, go there, check out the store, and you know, put the stuff in your shopping cart. You can calculate your shipping, and worst case is you can cancel before you pay. You know, I mean, if you don't like it, don't do it, but give it a whirl. You know, check it out, see what it calculates to, because it may be competitive enough, and he may be offering things that you can't get here. So you know, check it out.
You know, we're doing something a little different that I haven't seen any of the other printers do yet, but we're very artist based. I'm an artist myself. I like to paint, and I'm starting to get back into the larger 1/6 scale sculptures and things like that. And I forget where I was going with this. Well, anyways, it's, you know, I lost my train of thought.
That's all right. Yeah.
There's lots going on this end, because I'm seeing warnings on my screen, so I'm wondering if it's going to dump the connection like it was doing before. So it's kind of
I hear you.
Me out. But
okay, well, I think you did a fairly good job of explaining it. But yeah, I was curious about that. So the consumer gets a clear picture of there's no surprises, and it doesn't take weeks to get the parts. I mean, you order something, if you have it in stock, does it ship when? How long does it take you to process and ship out?
A lot of the small stuff. So if you're looking at like distributors, I stock a lot of the engines, just because, like, especially our popular stuff, like the 572, in all its forms. I think there's 8 different versions of it. I stock a ton of those because they fly off the shelves, right? Pardon me. The small block Ford ecosystem from 3D VM, which, guys, it's one of my favorites. And you started to work with it, how you can. I know you were new to 3D, so I know you had a little bit of stuff pulling it off the supports and stuff, but we fixed that. And that was on my
warm water.
Water. Yeah, I should have helped you with that. But that kit is, his ecosystem for the small block Ford is super cool. You start with the base, and you can build it out in probably 150 different ways with all sorts of extras. He's got 10 or 12 transmissions you can go with, and we carry the full line. We don't have it fully up on the web, but it's one of my favorite ecosystems. That stuff I stock. A lot of the wheels and tires we stock. All the little dress up stuff, like the fan. I know you're a big fan of our radiator and fan kits.
Yeah, because you fit those big motors in there. You know, you've got a little bit of a real estate issue. So getting rid of the old fan and putting a nice little radiator and electric fan in there kind of, you know, covers that space a little bit nicer.
Yeah, it's and the kit's nice. It comes with 6 rads and a bunch of different fan options and stuff like that. Comes with rad caps and everything, and it's one of our hot items too. It's I have to keep those. And then when I look at some of the chassis kits, like any of the stuff from Golden Bee 3D, he's from Europe. I want to say like Belgium or something like that. His chassis are absolutely insane to work with, and he's got a lot of stuff for the Mobius trucks, the Foose, FD, the 100, the Foose, the black Foose pickup. That chassis is really cool. You know, those, we stock a lot of those. Yeah, no political stuff.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah, we get enough of it on the news, right? But yeah, there's a lot of it I stock. I've got enough printers that when I get a big order, well, a good example is your sponsor order. It's quite large. You gave me your list that you were looking for, and I mean, you have a couple of full kits plus some chassis stuff in there, and it was 3 days. And I'm still printing all the other orders that were coming in. So
yeah,
great. I shut down for a couple. We just had a shutdown. Everybody's asking why we were so quiet. We were just going to do some maintenance, right? Regular maintenance. I had LCDs go down, so I had a pile of printers down. I couldn't get parts from Elegoo for the first time ever. And I ended up ordering from another company that was supposed to be reputable, put a few of the LCDs in, and within 2 hours, smoked 3 out of the 5 I installed. So I had to get a hold of them again to get more parts for replacement. So I'm not running at full speed, but we're still keeping up. So to answer your question, if you put the order in and you get the email that I've like that comes with a tracking order, it's probably within 24 hours, and that it'll ship out probably next day. So
Okay.
it's maybe 48 hours tops, unless it's a big order with a lot of multiple moving parts. I have one that came in Sunday, and I'm just waiting on one chassis piece, and it'll go up. But it was a big order. It was like a $450 order with a pile of chassis in it, and it's going to Florida. So it'll be 5 days to Florida. It'll probably go out tomorrow with your stuff.
Boy, if you could just ship it here, I'll take it down to Florida.
Yeah,
for you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, so where that little present button is here, it's like red for me. So I don't know if I want to share the website, because if I do, it might kick us off. I mean, it's very simple to go through, but I know it might be easier for you on that side. But I know
it's up to you, and I'm not able to with my Mac system here. I'm not able to do that right now. So it's up to you whether you want to do it. I mean, I did show some of your wearers on the intro that you might have noticed.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, I did.
And there, a link is in my description to his store, Model Makers Workshop. So you can certainly check that out and browse the shop. But it was just an opportunity for you to kind of point out some of your new and cool stuff. But I think you're doing a good job of just, talking about it and showing us what you got. So.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about some of the stuff that's coming. I know you were bugging us to make sure we got some Krager wheels. So I know that's some of our new stuff. We got the 4-star and the 5-star, but we added 7 or 8 yesterday. Well, they haven't gone up. They'll go up on the site either tomorrow or Sunday. But I sent you pictures of all the new Krager stuff that's going up. And it's a bunch of the old cool stuff. Yeah, it's on BF Goodrich radial TAs, which was, I know you were one that you're like, a lot of low profile tires, but let's get some meats underneath these cars. So worked with P24 Hobby, and it was funny because when he put the Kragers together for us, he didn't really do a lot of he was all low profile, right? He did a lot of the pilots and the proxies. Pardon me. And he hadn't really done it, and so he built those the Krager 5-spoke ones, the all original ones. And he had sent me a text, and he's like, these things are pretty cool. I'm going to build a few more of these Krager wheels. And then all of a sudden he had 8 or 10, and now 10 were 12. And then he had a whole series of Kragers that brought out. So it was good for them too, right? So having these relationships with the artists is awesome. I've built really good relationships with, P24 is one. I know MCS works a lot with Iceman. So we've kind of we use a lot of his stuff, but I know, we've had opportunities with Joe. So Joe Castro, who's my lead artist, and he is known as 9 Oscar 7. He's like retired Coast Guard, U.S. Coast Guard, and he's just got a gift when it comes in. He's got a scanner, so what we found is it's been easier to go. We bring the kits out, we scan what we've got for them, and then we just rip these kits apart and start building things a little bit better for them. But we've got some trailers coming, some really cool open air car haulers that are coming that I know a lot of guys have been, I get at least 10 emails. So on the website, I'll see if I can share it. Let's just try.
Yeah. Worst case is you come back and without it.
Yeah. So we have so can you see that? I'm not sure if you could. Yeah. Can you see that?
No. Where is it? There it is.
Okay.
Just delayed.
That'll make things a little easier here. So I'm just going to move this over to the screen. I've got dual monitors, so this will make things a little bit easier for me. Sorry.
Cool looking shot there too. That truck looks sweet.
Yeah, that was one of our, I can't remember offhand who it was. He's got a gift for the lowrider truck. This was one of our build offs that we had for the beginner scale modeling group. And yeah, I think this is the Mobius Mercury. I could be wrong though, but this thing is all custom fabbed. But we have a section called the Early Access Garage. So this is a bunch of stuff that we were working on, or it's almost ready to go. But we have this long haul open air car hauler trailer. I could probably show it to you here. Let me just switch out here. It's so weird having it on the other screen. I'm used to being the other way. But yeah, this is one section that we have that's going to be a bunch of stuff that's already ready and approved. I just got to shoot photos and get it up. So let me just log in here. I should have logged in a little bit earlier. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I'm just amazed how fast you're growing. Like he's also just door handles and stuff is something I've been begging you for, and
those will go up. We got seatbelt kits now, so we can do the 5-point harness. Again, these are a lot of the artists that we work with, because we're so focused on the artist and being an artist myself. I know I've had stuff. I've done stuff before that designs being stolen and guys not being paid and things like that. But we pride ourselves on our relationships with our artists. I'm just gonna go in. I could probably do it from here, but you'll see.
Because you'll notice I jumped right in because you sent me some engines and I started doing that and struggling to fit them into my builds and stuff. But I think also for some of the newbies that just want to get your feet wet and try out some 3D, the accessories are what's really cool. Build your kit, box stock plus is what they call it. You build your kit, but get some aftermarket door handles and, throw some bigger tires on there and just kind of get your feet wet and learn how to deal with it a little bit. And then as you're more comfortable, try the bigger things like the engines and like I'm going to try the whole tub kit and stuff instead of trying to shave and hack out my models.
Yeah, we're going to send you one of those. Batteries, reservoir tanks, those stuff, it'll get you used to working with it. And it can be daunting that it's small for the guys that haven't worked with it. But once you get going on it, you get the hang of it. It goes quick. There's so many guys that are in this industry that are willing to help too. So if you have questions, we're here to help too. If you need better, I know there's not a lot of these artists and designers that include instructions, but that's one thing. Next Wednesday, I hope to launch. We're gonna have a whole page on here. So even the artists we're not working with, if you have sets of instructions and stuff, send them to us. We'll post them on the website so they're there, because it's tough, right? But if I go over to this section, all right, it's under the artists. These are the artist partnerships that we have, and you'll see we've got quite a few here, and there's some that are coming that just haven't been out here. But if you look at let's just use 89 Design as an example. We're working on a Tamiya Beetle setup. Where are we here? There's a trans kit from him. So it takes the Tamiya 1300 Beetle in the 124 scale. Again, this site is absolutely horrendous to work through. It's so slow. There we go. But this kit comes with a pile of stuff. So the rear window louver, fender mirrors, missing hinge, accurate seat mounts, accurate handbrakes with lever shift knobs, hinges for openable windows. So this will allow you to open the back windows on the car the way they did back in that day. But we're going to pair it up with the artist's engine. So it has a very basic engine that's in that kit. This will actually dress it up so it actually looks like the factory and gets rid of that curbside. So by pooling a bunch of this stuff together, we'll add it as a trans kit, we'll sell it, box it, and push it out. But it was one thing that a lot of the builders were looking for, was something for the Tamiya Beetle. And I don't see it not working with the Revell. I mean, the kits are very similar, very close together. So, I mean, it may take a little bit of modification, but this is something that could be done.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
And those accessories I was just talking about a minute ago too, it'll make an old AMT kit really look like $1 million,
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, those engine compartments are so plain in an old AMT kit, but boy, you could really dress that up nice.
Yeah. And, we've got some of Z-Force Model Work stuff. We got a few sets of his wheels. But you know, he's creating stuff in the industry like his new hinge kits. His new hinge kits are absolutely insane that you can put on the trunk or door handles. You know, and Matt from Matt's Models and More, he's showcased them. You know, there's just some very intuitive guys in the industry that are doing some huge things. Mer Creations, he's got, if you're into the drag scene and these funny cars and stuff like that, he builds insanely cool stuff. We use, obviously everybody knows who Black Box is. I can show you guys actually the trailer we're working with Pixel Sun on. I just can't remember where it is. This is the trailer we're bringing in.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's super high detail. It's got some really awesome tires on it, but we've gotten a lot of requests for this, so it should be ready to go for Wednesday. And I know there's
hold my box. Hold my box. You got one more thing you need to add to it.
Yeah. So it's there's some stuff there, but there's these cool low boys. You could just, for diorama reasons, I mean, it could be something that's super cool, right?
Well, it's like my diorama has a big garage door that actually functions. It's made of 3D. I bought it at a show, so I could see a trailer like that bringing a car right into my diorama. What an awesome thing. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, we can go.
Ken needs one.
Yeah. Well, we have P24 here. We'll show. Just go down here. Keep going over here. So this is what I was talking about. He released a whole bunch of stuff. So this series here we've got. This series here we just added. Anything that's really got the radial TAs on it. So this one, this one, this one, this one. The American Racing series, this Krager series is awesome. So there's quite a few of the muscle car series, the older classic muscle car series that will now be available this Wednesday.
The Keystone is nice.
We do hear you guys when you guys request. It's just you got to think from my side of it. We get a ton of requests, so we try to pick and choose as we can, right? But like I said, if you guys are looking for something and you're not seeing it on our catalog, take the time and go into our website and hit the artist section and go through some of these guys, because they're P24, he does a lot of interior, he does seats, he does some outside accessories, but he does a lot of wheels and tires. Golden B3D, he's chassis, black boxes all over the place. He's got everybody knows who Black Box is. He's got body kits, so we've got a whole bunch of his body kits coming Wednesday. We carry a lot of his complete resin kits. We've got the new 3-window and 5-window. He's got some really cool diorama stuff as well. We also carry his we've got his COE. So this one here, we've got the drag truck. The street buggy, and where is it? The Turbo Proto. I can't keep these on the shelf. I'll print 30 and they're gone within a week. I know some guys asked about the drag boat, so we'll probably work to get the drag boat out with a trailer. It's pretty cool. A lot of guys have built it and love it. So there's stuff coming. And then when it comes to us, Joe has got a pile of stuff on the go right now. So we've got our 1/6 scale. I guess you can probably close this now and go back to the other screen. There we go.
Very nice, though. Thanks for sharing that. Nice looking website too, by the way. Easy to navigate.
Yeah, I wish I had more time to work on it, but it's for those of you who don't know, I'm a performance specialist at Napa. I've been there for a while. So again, automotive industry. I have slowly started to pull my hours back. So my Wednesdays are now going to be dedicated to a lot of getting new products up. So Wednesdays are going to be my drop days. Those will be the days you guys are going to want to check the website. I do post regularly on the 3D Aftermarket John Papp's site. I do stuff on your page, plus the beginner and Lucas C. I have permission to post in Lucas C, so we post in there. But Wednesdays are going to be where we focus what's coming. But again, no request is, too much. I mean, we don't do semi trucks. We don't do any of that kind of stuff, but we're going to stick to the muscle cars. We're going to stick to the pro touring stuff, the street rod stuff, and then definitely the trucks. I want to get more into some of the trucks, the bag stuff. For those of you who've been asking, yes, we have a 90s Tahoe coming, a two-door 90s Tahoe. Everybody's been asking for one. Joe's finishing it up, hopefully in the next week or two. But it's the cool Tahoe, the one with the big rear glass windows, 90 series, and G70. See, we had this talk yesterday about I don't really have a lot of meaty wide stuff because it's just not something I build, right? So again, this is something we're going to look at getting in. I did find one of our artists that we're licensed with does have some stuff. I've just got to take some time to go through his catalog and see what you guys like. I struggle with
Bryce is sponsoring 2 channels. He's got me representing the old farts, and then he's got a younger guy for the new stuff. But it's like my Ford that I'm building right now. Like I do appreciate these little low profile tires in a certain look and setting. I appreciate them. It's just not my thing. But like my 60 Ford, I'm building with these, and people are saying, "I love your kid. I don't like the tires." So it's the crowd that I hang with. I do have some younger people in my subscribers though. There's some younger crowd there, and some females too, for a matter of fact. So.
Yeah, and it's just the style, right? The building style. I do like the meaty tires too, but I'm a guy myself. Even the vehicles I built for personal vehicles, I've gone lowered with a lower profile tire because it's just that look, that stance that fits for me. I mean, driving one in Canada, it's not the greatest thing considering we have snow 8 months out of the year. Well, I don't here, but in most places in Canada there's snow 8 months out of the year that's 3 feet or deeper, right? It's not great weather for low rider trucks and cars. So but pros touring stuff, like he said here, we've got MCS Pro, his 55 and 57. We've got the low pro, which is the one you've got, we're sending to you, the low pro. It's a universal pro touring that he's done. They're great. They're there's not a lot of instructions. There's a bit of a learning curve to build these, so they're not for your basic builder, but there are photos out there. So again, if you're running into problems
and no glass, right? You have to make your own glass, right?
Yeah, a lot. Well, for a lot of the kits, they'll come with what do you call them? The templates. Buck. Yeah, the templates. So we send all that out. And it's not for that I don't want to create the glass. I just don't have time, and I have reached out to a pile of guys. So if you have somebody or any of you guys that are watching know anybody that does glass that can do this, I'm more than happy to put a partnership in and get some of this stuff done so they can send us, and we'll do glass too for these kits. But somebody had mentioned, I saw one of the comments earlier, somebody about our Blazers. That was one of the first kits we built, like back in July, which was the S10 Blazer, which we did 3 different bodies. So we did just a regular drag version, then we did a street version with the shaved door handles, and then we did an off-road version with the built-in fender flares, and we offered a couple of hood designs. The street version, I never actually posted it. I should post it, but we have the Cyclone body kit for that. And I know it's one that everybody asked for. It was the Cyclone body kit, which actually works. I believe we've also adjusted it for the new S10, the new Revell S10, because we have the drag kit for that, which has been super hot. I saw Chris Bell was on earlier. He just purchased one of those kits from us at Scale Speed Garage, and I know he was pretty happy with that kit. But it works. It's a trans kit that works directly with the new Revell S10, and it fits. Everything just fits so perfect. It's such a beautiful kit, and it's just something we wanted to kind of do. So going forward, like I said, Joe's working on some stuff on the JDM side. We're looking at a couple of different Honda Civic things that we're doing. We're working on a couple of Skyline GTRs. We're looking at a couple of Porsches. Again, the Ford Mustang GT4. That's going to be a fun one. I've been holding off on that one. We've talked about some 112 stuff on the Camaro, the Revell Camaro. We have access to some licensed stuff that we can do for that. We're looking at some of the truck stuff. I know there's some van kits coming out. The Fanta kit that just came out, and now the Stranger Things van. So we're looking at doing some boogie stuff, 70s boogie van stuff.
I want to do a van. I definitely do, with mural on it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I saw the Dungeons and Dragons coming too.
You know, I mean, I was planning the whole thing to be 3D and you know, your expertise on that, but you're also a pretty good builder in your own right. And we really didn't prepare for that. Do you have anything you could show us? I know you got some nice stuff.
Yeah, we do. I was supposed to do the 24-hour build that's on tomorrow, which I was going to do the 92 Toyota, but what I've done is I've kind of been putting all that aside. And I said to my wife that, you know, I got to get back into building. So I think I'm going to jump in this weekend and build. I'll probably do the Stranger Things Blazer, the K5 that we have. And I'll build it out with, I think I'll build a lifted version of it and then, you know, take some time and put it out. I'm really excited to really start working with the Gaahleri paints. I know you love them as well. I think they've knocked them out of the park. I know there's a lot of guys. It's a heated discussion. You got the enamel guys that are hardcore enamel guys that you're never going to change their mind. And I get it. That's cool. But you know, there's been some horrible paints in the past, but I'm telling you, Gaahleri knocked it out of the park with these new water-based paints. They're incredible what you can do with them. And they're so forgiving. So for the new builders out there, the guys that are like, oh, I can't do great paint jobs with this Gaahleri stuff, you can. It's Gaalleri's been super kind with us too from the start. Initially, when I started, I was going a different route. As you can see, we had a YouTube channel that was growing really quickly, and then 3D printing kind of took off on me. But you know, we're hoping to move. I think if all goes well in March, I'm moving to everything will be new. The apartment, the new facility. I've got about 700 more square feet. So we'll be adding some filament printers. So it's going to open a few things for accessory like paint holders and, you know, glue holders and things like that for paint storage and model storage. Some of those kind of things that we want to bring in that we have our own design. In fact, we've got a template that it works well with resin. I just think it'll work better, but it's an actual, I don't have it. I packed it up, but it looks like a Wildwood brake caliper. And the inside of it is customizable. You can drop your glue bottles in or paintbrush holders and all that. And it looks like a caliper. It holds and it's real. Yeah, Joe knocked it out of the park. I said, it's just an idea I was handling. And within a couple of days, he had it out. So maybe
for guys like me that keep spilling their product.
But it's completely customizable with little inserts. You can build it out however you want. So you can build 2 or 3 of them, but they look identical to the Wildwood 4-piston calipers. And they're pretty cool. But yeah, so I like going back to that. I haven't had a chance to really build. I got back in and I started building the stash again. And Brendan at BC Hobbies, for any of the Canadians, Brendan's quite large. A lot of people know him out here on the island. He has a website too, and he ships worldwide. But he's been really kind with us too, and he's got a ton of the product that's in his store. But he's been pointing us in the right direction. As new kits come in, we make sure he makes sure we get them so we can jump on it quick. You know, like the Revell S10, the new S10 truck, any of the Stranger Things that come out. He was like, as soon as he got them in the shop, he let us know we've got them. Come and get them. So he's been great for the industry as well, and he's supported us from the start. You know, a lot of the artists have backed us up, and it's been a grind to get through, right? There's a lot of guys that, you know, I've been buying from these monster companies like Iceman. And I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be easy to do. It was going to be a chore, but we're not looking to push anybody out of the market either. We just wanted to go.
I don't think that market's
a side hustle turned into almost a full-time thing, right? It's just growing and growing and growing. And we love it. And we love the customers and we love the feedback we're getting. And, you know, we've made mistakes too going through, and it's been a learning curve, but you know, we're excited. This will be a big year, and we're going to be you know, trying to get down to the States, trying to get to some of the shows. I'd like to get to a show in Florida for sure. Kind of do one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, and maybe something central. But we've got our shows here. My local show is April. So first week of April, and we're sponsoring the whole show itself with a couple of the hobby shops, but we're also, it'll be the first year IPMS here is doing a JDM class. So because we've been pushing JDM, they asked if we'd sponsor the trophy. So we're going to do the trophy for JDM as well as a bunch of gift cards and stuff like that for the category. But yeah, there's, you know, we're excited, and we're excited to see where you go with the channel this year too. I mean, it's you're growing like a bad weed, and we've made some great relationships and some great clubs, and there's, you know, we've seen some drama in the industry as well, and you know, it's been fun though. I've had the opportunity to talk with guys like Matt Hickey, and I met Chris Bell and yourself, and I've had conversations with Papa and Frank and, you know, Luca, and so I've met some monsters in the industry too, right? That you know, some of these guys, what is it, Kevin Hayes? He built some crazy stuff, and Arterake, I'm a huge fan of Arterake. He's another guy that just, you know, some of the stuff he builds is crazy good. So it's cool. There's just Tim's, who is it? Tim's Customs. He's got the new magazine. He builds some crazy stuff too. Browsing the website. Yeah, there's lots there. I you know, what started as 20 products, I think there's 400 and something on the site now. And I've had to start a spreadsheet, because as Joe starts going, he kind of goes off on his thing, and it's just, I've got this and oh, if I forgot about this, and I'll get a flood of, I'll be watching TV at 10 just before bed, and I'll get a push of messages and photos. He's like, look at this, 30 pictures. I'm like, oh, we got to build that, right? So it's we're both kind of scatterbrained when it comes to that stuff, but we work well together, and you know, he's a gifted artist, and he you know, there's just so many great guys in this industry. We just really want to push getting some of this younger crowd in, right? There's some of the greats are starting to leave us and passing, and, you know, taking a lot of their secrets with them, and, you know, we want to keep this hobby alive, right? It's and I know there's a lot of mixed guys on it. I know I can't remember who it was, if it was somebody who had posted something to Iceman or to Texas 3D Customs, but it was that 3D parts are ruining the hobby. And, you know, I chimed in on the post myself too, and you know, I'm in agreement with guys like Iceman and Joel. He's, you know, he's changed the industry too, and I'm just kind of riding the coattails that he started. And you know, he creates a great product. Texas 3D Customs creates a great product, but I don't think in any way, shape, or form we're destroying the hobby. I think we're bringing a new level of detail to it. And there are the old school guys that are just, they're going to build stock, and that's what they do. And, you know, they do it great. And we're not trying to, you know, destroy that side of the industry. It's just, we're just offering something that opens a whole new side to it, right? And it's,
you know, I mean, like the old school guys back in the day, it was, you had a scratch build if you wanted something cool. You know, but a guy like me who's just kind of returning to the hobby and was never much of a skill builder to begin with, you know, I'm not that good at any kind of fab. Like I don't have it. Yeah. I don't have it handy right now, but like I'm even fabbing like the inner tubs for my engine compartment, and that was, you know, difficult for me to do. So I think the 3D stuff really helps us amateurs, if you will, look professional, because we're able to do some really cool stuff to the builds, because we're not capable of scratch building it ourselves. But these kits that you can get, and the accessories, like your engines, are amazing, because you got all those options from blowers to twin turbos to just velocity stacks. I mean, you can, you know, when he has that 572 Chevy engine, guys, you can build that thing a dozen ways. So it's really cool.
Yeah, and it's the same as we've got an LS system coming too. I've been kind of holding off on it. He's a younger guy that I met through Instagram, and it started as just like little projects he was doing, and he was, you know, giving the files away for free. That turned into, you know, an LS base that has probably 60 different top end accessories. You could build this thing 200 different ways. And so his ecosystem, we're just trying to figure out kind of how we're going to put it all together. Do we sell it as just maybe one larger kit where it's, 5 engine blocks that you can build? So it's like 5 engines that you can build out. I just think we just got to figure out the way to get it out, because listing it with the 200 different pieces on the website is going to be a trick. So I think having to sell it as one big piece where you can build 5 engines out of it it'll still be the same cost as if you bought 5 engines separately, but it gives you the ability to build it out a numerous amount of times, just purchasing it once, right? I know we ruffled. Somebody had told me we ruffled a few feathers when we released our spark plug boots, because most of the people out there are releasing packs of 10 or 12 or whatever it was, and we just dumped 100 pack out onto the market, right? We're like, here we go, there's 3 sets, 45s, 90s, and straights, and we're going to do them in packs of 100. And
you asked me the other day if I need any. It's like, I got a lifetime supply, I think.
Yeah, and that was just it, right? It was we ruffled a few feathers, we were told, and we thought, well, I just got tired of ordering them 18 times a year, right? I figured, well, I'd rather, if I could, myself as a buyer, I would rather buy just a pack of 100 and not have to worry about it, and then just buy them, as I need them.
Well, that's it. And I appreciate that. I'm sure everybody else does too, because even just forget about the price of the resin. Shipping is not cheap. So when you're buying anything, I mean, the more you can get in your order for that shipment, the better. I'd rather have 100 spark plug boots than a dozen. You're going to pay the same shipping.
Yeah, for sure. We when we first started, like we've changed directions a few different ways. Like we started with some really high end packaging, and then we realized, most guys didn't care the packaging as long as it was packed well and it wasn't being destroyed in shipping. They didn't care what kind of package it came in. So we found we were spending a ton of money on packaging. So we kind of dialed that back a little bit, and that packaging I'm using for the retail side. So any of the hobby shops, because they need it on that side, right? But for the average guy, as long as it gets to you guys, all in one piece the way it's supposed to, and it's not warped and damaged and broken, most guys don't care, right? Well, the one thing that we stand behind, though, is we take most of the time we take stuff off the supports. Your order was so big, I just didn't want a whole bunch of loose stuff running around that first time. But now that you know how to take it off the supports, which was my fault for not letting you know, and we have since added something to the website now on each product page, if you go to the right of the screen, you'll see working with resin. If you click it, it'll give you proper ways to work with the resin. So, like I said,
that's helpful.
We're just doing, we're doing our best. It's just a mom pop operation. It's just me and Janice, right, my wife, and it's we've had late days and late hours, and the website does state where we ship on the Sunday, I believe, or it's the Friday, one of the days. We're only shipping one day a week, but we've gotten to a point where, I get 5 or 6 packages we ship. So we're shipping pretty much every other day or every day, right? As of now. So I want to go with, yes, should not be straight across. You're right. You're correct.
Yeah. This is Bill. He mentioned that to me the other day. And of course, I know you're not designing the product. You're buying the license and then producing them. But I guess if you could pass the word on.
And depending on who you're buying, who designed it, you'll see that some are done. If you look at Matavish Yen, he's got some of the most realistic engines out there. And his are he's got such a selection too. But then some of the younger, newer artists, and by younger I mean younger to the industry, it's little things that you see that get tweaked as they put new versions out, right? But most of Joe's engines, even his V block engines, you'll see are separate. They're not straight across from each other. And going back to the industry and how the industry is changing, guys like Chris Bell at Scale Speed Garage, his community, not only does his community kind of, they do like file packs and stuff that are unique to him, but one of the cool, unique things that Chris Bell does in this industry is he's got, I think it's once a week. I know he's watching. He can kind of verify this, but he'd be one that you should probably bring on as a guest, because he's got the back end to the way he does things. He's he actually teaches. So for the guys that want to learn this stuff, want to learn 3D, and it's really not as hard as what I thought it was. If I had the time to do it, and I was starting to do it with Chris, but he part of his scale speed garages, he has every week he has a class where they get together and he kind of goes over the software and design and how this works. But Chris designs some amazing product. He's all sorts of, and it's all over the place, from tow trucks to, you know, engines and all sorts of crazy stuff that he does. But for those of you who haven't, check out Scale Speed Garage. And he's got, I think, different tiers and things like that. But you know, he's doing some crazy things for the industry as well.
I believe I am subscribed to him. I'll have to check and verify.
Yeah, Chris Ballade. He's got some crazy stuff. Me and Chris are actually on the down low. We're not really going really wide with it yet, but we're working on a project together right now. That's going to be coming here shortly, that I think we're hoping is going to make some big changes to the industry as well. Right. I have access to bicycles. I see you're there. I have some really cool wagons. So if you have a look under 3D VM, under diorama, you'll see I've got a 3-pack of these cool wagons, old radio flyers from the 60s. One's like a lowered one, one's like a standard one, and one's like a race style. So I got the big wheels on it with the oil tank and some cool stuff like that. And it's in 125 scale.
If you can answer Jeffrey's question there, I mean, I know the difference from 3D resin versus the filament. I know the resin is a much more detailed process, and the 3D filament is a much easier process. My understanding there is it's pretty hard to mess up, and there's not much of a learning curve. And I'm not sure what else he's asking there, but can you elaborate any more? Is one more durable than the other?
There's a big difference. I haven't filament printed. I have stuff that's filament printed that I use. It is a stronger product. You don't get the detail. I'm hearing it's getting better. But again, I can't really speak on it because I don't do a lot of filament, but resin is definitely there's Scale Speed Garage. Yeah. Definitely check those guys out. He does some crazy stuff, but if the filament stuff, I'm starting to see it now. And so, like I said, I do a lot of the scale, the 1/6 and 1/8 scale statues and those kind of things, action figures, and some of the video game girls and stuff like that, as you've seen on my posts lately. A lot of guys are starting to print those now in filament, or the bases in filament, because you're starting to get the detail, and the strength is incredible, but it's not the same, right? It's two completely different processes. But I know I know somebody had said earlier, they were one of the questions they had asked about strength with the brittleness of some of this stuff. And I mean, there's a ton of different resins out there. We don't do it just a regular AK resin. I know some of the printers do. We actually use an ABS, so it is quite a bit. It's got some flex to it, and it's not quite as brittle. I mean, depending on the piece, if it hits the floor, it's going to shatter, whether it's ABS or not. So if you're clumsy and you drop it, but it also depends on the piece, right? I've done some stuff with antennas that are, got good flex on them, so it's almost realistic. So it depends. Everybody's a little bit. Every manufacturer's a little bit different. I've seen guys that do custom mixes, where they'll start with an AK and they add ABS to it. So it depends. We use strictly an ABS. We use Elegoo 3.0 plus ABS resin, and we haven't gotten. I don't think we've gotten a single complaint of how anything really brittle. So I know you had a few things, but again, you hadn't worked with it before, and you had stuff flying.
Parts are delicate, like the pulleys and fan belts. I mean, they're just delicate. You just have to be careful. They probably should have some spares on a couple of those kits for that kind of stuff.
So the best way to handle that stuff is, if you're getting it, doesn't matter who prints it or whatever. If you're getting it, it's still on the supports. What I told Ken was, get a container and put some hot water in it that at least you can put your fingers in, and I just dip it and it'll soften the supports, and you can just pop it right off. Right? Okay. Use your nippers.
I'll definitely try that.
Yeah, use your nippers if you have to, but we try to send everything out off the supports. And the only reason why I do it, and I mean, it is what it is. I don't care how other printers do it. We do it because sometimes when you get down on an angle and it sits on the plate, you can't see when it's still on the support. So I can't see if it's formed under here. And I've noticed I've even bought stuff from other printers where I come in and then the bottom is kind of got a warp or curve. So it's not a sharp edge. So by us pulling it off the supports before we wash it, I can see that those bottom edge, and you'll see it on wheels and tires. Sometimes they come on an angle and you see bottom of the edge is kind of curved. You don't have a straight sharp edge, right? So by doing this, it allows us to kind of inspect, and certain things do pass. They get through and we don't see it. I had a customer last week that had an axle and he gave us a 2-star rating, and I instantly said, I have no problem. I'll send you out the axle and a couple other things. And, he felt bad about it, but these things do slip through. We don't get it. When we get a massive orders, we try to catch as much as we can. Right. But
it happens with styrene too. I mean, short shots. It amazes me sometimes what they're shipping out of those places. Somebody's actually wrapping that up, putting it in a bag and in a box, and half the body is short shot missing.
I saw one on Lucas C's page the other day. The whole passenger side was missing off an AMG.
Yeah.
And that
like, semi, that trailer that's above me here, that was missing a lot of stuff. I did a lot of patchwork.
Yeah, so mistakes are made just like anything else, right? And we're growing, and we're trying to stay on top of things. And we're straight up. Like I said, if you follow the Facebook page is the easiest one, Facebook and Instagram for us, which is just at Model Makers Workshop for both. Make sure you're following that. We do regular updates all the time. So if I'm out of town or if we have something that's come up, I let everybody know. We don't normally close the store. We like everybody to be able to do their thing. If you put your orders in, and we know there's a banner at the top that'll tell you what we're doing. Like when I was down for service, we left the site open so you could still put orders in and all that. It's just we weren't shipping until we got the parts that we needed, right? So
what I want? I want somebody to scan me and make me 6 inches or 5 inches tall, because my channel, I do the green screen stuff. I would love to have my stuff at a show on a table, and then have me standing there in front of my model saying, as seen on YouTube, and even putting me inside the cars like I do. I wish somebody had a scanner that could get me printed up.
I'm sure there's somebody out there that could do it. But yeah, it's we're super excited. I'm just trying to think of any other questions I saw that were there.
Yeah. Well, you've been very helpful. I knew you'd be a great guest for the show. I think you're really helping others, and even me just talking to you here, I'm learning more as we go. I got to do a hats off too, a shout out to T-Mobile. Because I think the show is not too bad as far as the quality goes. And, I've got 2 bars and they're fading from T-Mobile that's carrying the show here. So,
yeah, I'm surprised how well this is working.
Hats off to them.
To be honest. I get a little bit of staggering from you and a few things here and there, but all in all, it's
better than I thought we were gonna. I thought we were gonna crash and burn in the first 3 minutes and call it in the night. But I do apologize to the people that are tuning in throughout the show that we do pixelate occasionally, and it's just we have an outage. It's the weather here. It's cold. I'm not sure what's going on, but anyways, hey Guy, would you believe we're about 90 minutes already into the show? It's amazing how time flies.
Yeah. It is when you're talking
of freezing
about
here, you
like that,
froze.
I don't know how many young guys we have on. How many people are on the show right now? How many viewers do we have? I can't tell from my side, so can somebody
I just gave a shout out to T-Mobile, and then we totally couldn't understand a thing you said. I think you were asking how many viewers. Can anybody give us an update on who's how many is live on the
64 or 66? 64 or 66.
6.
Oh. Did we lose him? Oh, I think he's gone.
So
There you are. You
no
disappeared.
sooner did I give hats off to I jinxed it. You guys are right. Hey, I was gonna wrap it up anyways, especially now that we do have the quality issues. I hope you can hear me, but Bryce, thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah.
Sorry about the quality issues tonight.
Yeah. It was all fun.
Okay. Yeah, we lost Kenny. Hey, guys, I appreciate you sticking with us tonight. Hopefully Armstrong Cable, my local provider, will fix the problem. They're usually really good. That's why I've stuck with them all the years. Their customer service is great, but appreciate that. Next week, tune in for Joe's new Rush Shop as my guest right here in studio. So I had to clean up my studio or a room for us to sit because we can't both fit in this pup that I'm in. So, okay. Any parting words, Bryce?
Well, you know, I for the guys that are here, so the guy that we were looking at to do some of the newer style cars with YouTube fell through. So if anybody's interested in doing some content and anything on YouTube on that side of things, definitely reach out to us through the website. Just trying to think of anything else that might be. Yeah, we're easy to get a hold of on our socials. Yeah, and the website modelmakersworkshop.com. Other than that, Ken, thanks for having us for sure. It was fun.
It was a pleasure. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you got coming with some of the stuff we're doing now that you got some kits coming and some of these chassis. So yeah, it'll be fun for sure.
Okay, well, we'll keep it going, and I'm sure I'll have you back again someday. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Okay. And folks, I appreciate you too. We're going to go ahead and sign off for today. And, you know, I've been throwing up a couple unannounced live streams. So, you know, check those out. Sometimes I'm just sanding on my body. I'm amazing how many people sign in just to watch me sand for an hour, but but I enjoy it. You know, hey, we're model builders and we're just all having fun together. So thank you so much for your support of the channel. I really appreciate it. Please come back again. I'll be here next Friday at 7 o'clock. Until then, have a wonderful weekend, folks. And I hope everybody survives the big storm that's on its way. Bye now.